Welcome everybody. My name is Alma, and I'm happy to be here leading practice with all of you. Any questions? Anything that came up for you during practice that you'd like to share? Going once? Going twice? Okay, miss opportunity. I wanted to share with you from the book, The Zen Experience, available after I drop it off at the lending library. This book is from Thomas Hoover, and it actually shares about different teachers and their contributions to Zen practice. So I wanted to share a little bit about the following. So it's from the section from the teacher Shen Xiu, and his contribution was gradual and sudden masters. It's in quotes. So. And I wanted to share with you about the following. In his battle with the Northern School of Shan, he had outlived his opponents and through a bizarre turn of events had finally won the day. Solely through his persistence, the obscure Southern Chan monk, Huineng, was installed as sixth patriarch in Shan histories, replacing Shen Xiu. And one history went so far as to declare Shen Hu himself the seventh patriarch. The philosophical significance of what Shen Hu's Southern doctrine brought to Chan has been described as nothing less than a revolution. A modern Zen scholar has claimed that Shen Hui's revolution produced a complete replacement of Indian Buddhism with Chinese philosophy, keeping only the name. Shen Hui, he claims, swept aside all forms of meditation or dhyana and replaced it with a concept called no mind. The doctrines of absence of thought and seeing into one's original nature. Perhaps this philosophical concept might be misunderstood by comparing the northern and southern teachings. The northern school of Shen Xiu had preached that the road of enlightenment must be traversed step by step, that there were in fact two stages of the mind. The first being a false mind, which perceives the world erroneously in dualities. And the second, a true mind, which is pure and transcends all discriminations and all dualities, perceiving the world simply as a unity. One proceeds from the false mind to the true mind step by step, through the suppression of erroneous thought processes by the practice of dhyana or meditation, in which the mind and the senses slowly reach a state of absolute quietude. quietude, quietude. Now, based on what you heard, is there anything that resonated with the true mind, false mind approach during your practice today? And I'm checking in for myself as well. Last time I led, somebody asked about the first chapter of Beginner's Mind, Zen Mind, which is one of the books that we referenced during this practice. And the concept of the witness, of the observer, came up. The true mind, false mind concept reminds me a little bit of that. In my experience today, what I can share with you is that a part of me is constantly judging what goes through my mind whenever I'm practicing. So there's points where I do perceive the duality. The book mentioned that the false mind lives in those dualities, and for me, it usually looks as, are you doing this right? Are you doing this wrong? Because there's no other way, right? Or wrong. That shows up constantly during my practice when I find myself present to my inner thoughts. And my immediate judgment is, you're doing this wrong. If I really think about it, there was a moment today where I was singing the song that I was listening in my car on my way here, while perceiving the sounds around me, and I found myself present to my inner world and my other world, and I said, this is it. This is my mind. I'm usually singing inside, so it's when I start judging my mind as being too energized, too alive for the silent and calmness that I'm trying to create here, especially in front of you, right? However, for me, that is my true mind. When I'm able to perceive everything that is going on in my world and everything that is going on around me without attaching it to any judgments or concepts, just being present and releasing through my breathing. Anything that comes to mind for you?
I was struggling a lot with a lot of obsessive thoughts, which I started earlier today. Like, and try to calm it. I thought that, so I don't know how to do it basically. When I'm in the midst of this kind of storms, try to go back to the breath. Then again, warning comes, I want to get rid of them. Then again, trying to go back to the breath. This time it didn't happen, but sometimes like after a while, maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so all of a sudden like something switches. So. But yeah, today was a struggle. Call it.
When you say obsessive thinking, it's because you find yourself thinking about the same topic or going back to the problem you're trying to resolve, or...
The rumination, yeah.
Okay, got it. It's interesting how it works. Even though it might seem, and in fact, we experience many, many thoughts. If you combine and condense all of them, you might find only 2 or 3 routes. During silent retreats for me, what showed up was thinking about a move that I was gonna do, work, and partner. So like partner, work, home, partner, work. So it's very repetitive, especially when you experience it and you feel it like, here we go again, here we go again. But I really like what you share about bringing yourself back to the breathing, at least for me, especially marking the exhale. I previously mentioned that it's a reminder for our nervous system and ourselves to let go, release, create something different, shift it, accept it. Pretty much just stop resisting it, no? And it's in that moment where I do experience that sense of relief. When from the repetitiveness, I catch myself creating something new. Even if it's a thought of the same topic, but at least I'm seeing it in a different perspective, right? Consider that this is our duality as its max. If this is not right, this is wrong. If this is not resolved, it's a problem. So it's almost in the world of, if I don't address it, it's going to bother me. So it's like jumping from one place to another. However, just consider that there's more than just duality. There's also the approach of Zen practice, which is I don't push, I don't engage. Come back to the breathing, just like you did. Maybe chicken with your posture. That also helps for me. Today I kind of move my hands just to provide a little shift for myself to practice. Even though I want to look good in front of you and not move, but in the sense of my body, just creating that space, allow me to come back to my practice with more space, a different approach. Yes, I saw your hand too. Do you want to contribute?
I forgot.
Is that good or bad?
Good.
Please let us know if it comes back to you. Yes.
I wanted to comment, I like what you just said. You said, not everything, there's more than duality. There's more than just duality. And so I was finishing a thought about something that you said right before that, and it's that, so not everything needs to be resolved, basically, right? Because it's not fixed, not everything is fixed. Things are only fixed in the false mind.
Yes. Including ourselves.
Oh boy.
Yes, our teacher Ken loves to refer us to our humanity kicking in when we think all I have is a problem, you're fixed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being distracted, you're fixed. I'm being absent-minded, you're fixed. It's almost like you are adding this judgment and concept to yourself, when in fact, we are not fixed. We can be anything and everything if we choose to. But it takes practice to, like you said, get rid of the fixation, even if it's in the thinking or in the way you're perceiving the situation, somebody else or yourself.
Yeah.
And it's only in that space that you're able to release. You don't push it or reject it. You don't engage or overthink it or whatever action you would like to perceive. In the section that continues with the reading that I shared tonight, it does go a little bit into that. I can even check it right now, but it does talk about, working with the duality and expanding on non-attachment. So now I want to expand a little bit on that. So, the Southern school took issue with this theory of the mind on a number of points. To begin, they said that if there really is no duality in the world, then how can the mind be divided into false and true? They argued that the answer, quite simply, is that there is only one mind, whose many functions are all merely expressions of single true reality. The unity of all things is the true reality. Our minds are also part of this reality, and upon realizing this, you have achieved the same enlightenment experience once realized by the Buddha. There is no false mind and true mind, nor is there any need for a long program of dhyana to slowly suppress false thoughts. All that is needed is to practice absence of thought, and thereby intuitively to realize a simple truth. One unity pervades everything. This realization they call Buddha mind, and it could only happen all at once, not step by step. At any time and without warning, this moment of primal realization they call seeing into one's original nature. With that in mind, let's go for another round of practice.
in.
Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints?
I have a question. You said that nothing is fixable, right? So shall we make an effort to fix the problem or let it go?
The concept of being fixed, it's more in the lines of not being able to modify it, or like it's in the world of stuck. When you ask me if the problems cannot be fixed, should we let go of the problem? My first thought is, no, problems need to be resolved. You know, like my false mind goes for the carrot. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe this problem is something that could impact your lifestyle, or, you know, has consequences in the world of rules. With the minimum information at hand, what I will say is your approach, you can let go. It's almost when you were sharing about, hey, I had obsessive thinking about, you know, a situation, or, you know, I made it sound like, oh, you had something that was concerning, so your thinking was going there. That doesn't resolve the problem, right? Overthinking about it is not going to resolve the problem. It's more in the world of causing yourself suffering. In my case, there are situations that I can resolve in one conversation with someone. Maybe it's my boss, and I need to have a conversation about boundaries. However, if I get stuck in my head and I replay the conversation or practice it for 3 days, that might be in the world of preparing, but that might be also in the world of overthinking and freezing without taking proper action to stop thinking about it overall, because I put actions and there was a resolution, even if it's not the one that I have in mind. So going back to your question, if your false mind is going back and forth, playing tricks on you, repeating scenarios about one situation, my recommendation will be, and I thought of you too, you are the solution and you are the problem. Maybe sitting with it, going back to your breathing, like he was sharing, might allow you to come to that realization yourself. Is this really a matter that needs my attention in my recurring thinking? Or am I present to peace of mind and calmness, space, resolution just by being with the fact that I'm overthinking about it? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's your overthinking, your causing yourself suffering, that might be what you can focus on. Just for a moment, or a few moments like you today, and then the solution might show up. For me, sometimes I have to write it down after meditation, you know, call it journaling, or sometimes I just go into duality and I split the page and I'm like pros, cons, and I just write everything on it. Just for kind of like what you were doing, a shift on perspective. And coming from, you are the solution, you are the problem. You are the one. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you would like to share?
I used to, my daughter before a test, a week or two before a test, she would worry for 2 weeks, and I'd go, if you just wait till the day of the test, and just worry that day, then you've saved 2 weeks of, like you say, there's no resolution. In some of your problems, there's no resolution. Sometimes they just need to come and go, or I've had situations where I worry and I don't want to take care of it, but if I wait a little time, sometimes it just kind of goes a different way. And then I didn't really have to do anything, or it's a whole different approach now, and I've just wasted, a week pretending that I know how I'm going to fix it, or, and it's like, oh my God, so.
What came to mind when you share that, thank you, Vicky, is like, instead of staying in the mental chaos, you can create that openness or that moment of clarity for yourself just by kind of bringing yourself back to, hey, you don't have to worry 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
I will have added, go and study some more, right, in the world of solutions, but sometimes we just get stuck and fix in the problem, right? Yes.
When you mentioned being or bringing in the observer, it reminded me of when someone else has like a problem, and what I was trying to think of during the meditation was, because I have the philosophy of when someone's going through something that they either need the help, that they need help, or that they just simply deserve the help. Instead of thinking of the benefits and costs of helping them, that if I help them, will it drag me out as well and suffer with them, or whether I can both come out of it good. And I was wondering whether if it's still good to help when helping them could still not be the right way.
That is always the question. One of my favorite Zen masters is Thich Nhat Hanh, and he talks about contributing to others and being present for others a lot, and I really, really love that. Something that really made a difference for me, coming from what you're sharing, which is maybe I provide a solution or even, an answer to your question, and then inside I'm like, is this the right way or the right answer, right? So when we talk about being present, I really like what you're bringing up. And during a silent retreat at the Deer Park Monastery, this conversation was the conversation that we had with one of the nuns, and something that I'm always going to share about that is how the sister presented it was almost like we're doing in meditation. Is this a moment to listen? Is this a moment to talk? So it's coming from almost the approach of, is the answer that will make a difference for myself or for somebody else? Or will I make a bigger difference if I ask a question instead of provide a solution, for example? That's a good way to approach it when it comes to self-awareness. However, if you want to take it to the next level, just ask. How can I better support you? Is there any way that I can contribute to you? Hey, listen, it seems like you might need some help. Is that something that, and maybe they turn around and say, hey, I just need you to listen to me, and they provide solution in your space just by holding space for them. I will highly recommend it, especially if you want to live in the world of cause effect in the sense of somebody coming to the realization or the solution of their own situation. It's very different than telling them what to do. It's adding more effect on you. And maybe a little bit more heaviness and significance to your relationship, right? Even if it's your daughter, even if it's someone that you love. I think based on what I learned through Thich Nhat Hanh, which is one of the teachers that I reference, is he will say something along the lines of, "Hello, brother, I'm happy to be here with you." And just by saying those words, or just by saying, "Hey, I'm here with you. I have no idea how to resolve your issue, but hey, I'm just gonna sit next to you and, let me know if there's anything I can do." Like, imagine if you will approach individuals, on daily basis. Or even how you were saying, if you're like stuck and you're like, "Hey, do you have a moment? I just wanna, like bounce some ideas because I'm overthinking." And then just by doing that, you clear space for each other. Or like you were saying, you contribute to each other's growth. I mean, that's the world I want to live in. And that's why we're here, practicing. Anything to add? Anything to say?
When applying it to oneself, I like the idea that you said that, well, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it was kind of like live in the truth so we don't dehumanize ourselves. And that it's better to detach to end the suffering than to kind of almost in a way lie to ourselves. And I like the way you said that, to detach was a good way of thinking of it.
Do not push, do not engage. I like that idea, especially because it's in the world of aversion or attachment, like, "Oh, I don't like it, ooh, I love it." Like, that's me all day, every day. Like moment by moment. But thank you for your contribution. Anything else to add? Anything to remove? Take it back. If I gave you too much, I apologize. If I gave you too little, I apologize. Vicky, would you like to do the announcements before we close?
Yeah.